So, guten Morgen, meine Lieben. Heute schneidet auf. Ich freue mich mega. Ich gehe gerade so weit fertig mit dem Aerostar am Flughafen Nicole abholen. Das freut mich auch sehr. Ich muss gar nicht lange um den heißen Brei reden. Ich freue mich, holy shit. Nehemiah 10. The document was read. The people agreed to obey. The people responded, in view of all this, we are making a solemn promise and putting it in writing. On this sealed document are the names of our leaders and Levites and priests. The document was ratified and sealed with the following names. The governor, Nehemiah, son of Hekeliah, and also Zedekiah. The following priests, Zeriah, Azariah, Jeremiah, Pashhur, Amariah, Malchijah, Hattush, Shebaniah, Maluch, Harim, Meremoth, Obadiah, Daniel, Ginetoth, Baruch, Meshulam, Abijah, Mijamin, Messiah, Bilgai, and Shemaiah. These were the priests. The following Levites. Jeshua, son of Azaniah, Binui, from the family of Henadad, Kadmiel and their fellow Levites, Shebaniah, Hodiah, Kelita, Peliah, Hanan, Micah, Rehob, Hashabiah, Saku, Sherebiah, Shebaniah, Hodiah, Bani, and Beninu. The following leaders: Parosh, Pahath Moab, Elam, Satu, Bani, Buni, Askat, Bebai, Adonijah, Pikvai, Aden, Acher, Hezekiah, Atsu, Hodiah, Hashum, Bezai, Harif, Anatoth, Nebai, Makpayash, Meshulam, Hetzir, Meshezabel, Zadok, Jadua, Pelatiah, Hanan, Anaiah, Hoshea, Hananiah, Hashub, Halohesh, Pila, Shobek, Rehum, Hashabna, Messiah, Ahiah, Hanan, Anan, Maluch, Harim, and Baina, the vow of the people. Then the rest of the people, the priests, Levites, gatekeepers, singers, temple servants, and all who had separated themselves from the pagan people of the land, in order to obey the law of God, together with their wives, sons, daughters, and all who were old enough to understand, joined their leaders and bound themselves to an oath. They wrote a curse on themselves if they failed to obey the law of God, as issued by his servant Moses, and solemnly promised to carefully follow all the commands, regulations, and decrees of the Lord our God. We promise not to let our daughters marry the pagan people of the land, and not to let our sons marry their daughters. We also promise that if the people of the land should bring any merchandise of grain to be sold on the Sabbath or on any other holy day, we will refuse to buy it. Even every 7th year we will let our land rest, and we will cancel all debts owed to us. In addition, we promise it's a bit sleep. I'm like 4.5 hours of sleep in. In addition, we promise to obey the command to pay the annual temple tax of 1/8 an ounce of silver for the care of the temple of our God. This will provide for the bread of the presence, for the regular grain offerings and burnt offerings. for their offerings on the Sabbath, the new moon celebrations, and the annual festivals for the Holy Atonement for Israel. It will provide for everything necessary for the work of the temple of our God. We have cast sacred lots to determine when, at regular times each year, the families of the priests, Levites, and the common people should bring wood to God's temple to be burned on the altar of the Lord our God, as is written in the law. We promise to bring the first part of every harvest to the Lord's temple year after year, whether it be a crop from the soil or from our fruit trees. We agree to give God our oldest sons and the firstborn of all our herds and flocks as prescribed in the law. We will present them to the priests who minister in the temple of our God. We will store the produce in the storerooms of the temple of our God. We will bring the best of our flour and other grain offerings, the best of our fruit and the best of our new wine and olive oil. And we promise to bring to the Levites a tenth of everything our land produces, for it is the Levites who collect the tithes in all our rural towns. A priest, a descendant of Aaron, will be the Levites, as they receive these tithes. As a tenth of all that is collected as tithes will be delivered by the Levites to the temple of our God and placed in the storerooms. The people and the Levites must bring these offerings of grain, new wine, and olive oil to the storerooms and place them in the sacred containers near the ministering priests, the gatekeepers, and the singers. We promise together not to neglect the temple of our God. Nehemiah 11. And the people occupy Israel. The leaders of the people were living in Jerusalem, the holy city. A tenth of the people from the other towns of Judah and Benjamin were chosen by sacred lots to live there too, while the rest stayed where they were. And the people commanded everyone who volunteered to resettle in Jerusalem. Here's a list of the names of the provincial officials who came to live in Jerusalem. In brackets. Most of the people, priests, Levites, temple servants, and descendants of Solomon's servants, continued to live in their own homes in the various towns of Judah. But some of the people from Judah and Benjamin resettled in Jerusalem. Closing brackets. From the tribes of Judah, Attiah, son of Uzziah, son of Zechariah, son of Amariah, son of Shephatiah, son of Mahalalel, of the family of Perez, also Maaseiah, son of Baruch, son of Kol, Hotze, son of Hazael, son of Adiah, son of Joyarib, son of Zechariah, of the family of Shelah. There were 468 descendants of Perez who lived in Jerusalem, all outstanding men. From the tribe of Benjamin, Salu, son of Meshulam, son of Joed, son of Pedaiah, son of Kolaiah, son of Maaseiah, son of Itiel, son of Sheshaiah. After him were Gabai and Salai, a total of 928 relatives. Their chief officer was Joel, son of Zikri, who was assisted by Judah, son of Masenua, second in command over the city. From the priests, Jedaiah, son of Joyarib, Jachin, and Seraiah, son of Hilkiah, son of Meshulam, son of Zadok, son of Meraioth, son of Ahitub, the supervisor of the temple of God. Also 822 of their associates who worked at the temple. Also Ediah, son of Jeroham, son of Peliah, son of Amzi, son of Zechariah, son of Pashu, son of Malchijah, along with 242 of his associates who were heads of their families. Also Amashsai, son of Azarel, son of Ahazai, son of Meshilemoth, son of Emer, and 128 of his outstanding associates. Their chief officer was Zebdiel, son of Hagedolim, from the Levites. Shemaiah, son of Hashub, son of Azrikam, son of Hashabiah, son of Buni, also Shabbatai and Josabad, who were in charge of the work outstanding the temple of God. Also Mattaniah, son of Micah, son of Zabdi, a descendant of Asaph, who led in thanksgiving and prayer. Also Bakbukiah, who was Mattaniah's assistant, and Abda, son of Shammua, son of Galal, son of Jedutun. In all there were 284 Levites in the holy city, from the gatekeepers, Akub, Talum, and 172 of their associates who guarded the gates. The other priests, Levites, and the rest of the Israelites lived wherever their family inheritance was located, in any of the towns of Judah. The temple servants, however, whose leaders were Ziha and Gishpa, all lived on the hill of Ophel. Chief officer of the Levites in Jerusalem was Uzzi, son of Bani, son of Hashabiah, son of Mattaniah, son of Micah, a descendant of Asaph, whose family served as singers at God's temple. Their daily responsibilities were carried out according to the terms of a royal command. Pethahiah, son of Meshezabel, a descendant of Zerah, son of Judah, was the royal advisor in all matters of public administration. As for the surrounding villages with their open fields, some of the people in Judah lived in Kiriath Arba with its settlements, Dibon with its settlements, and Shekabzel with its villages. They also lived in Jeshua, Moladah, Beth Pelet, Hatzar Shual, Beersheba, and its settlements, Siklag, and Mekona with its settlements. They also lived in Rimon, Zorah, Jarmuth, Zanoah, and Alulam with their surrounding villages. They also lived in Lachish with its nearby fields, and Azekah with its surrounding villages. So the people of Judah were living all the way from Beersheba in the south to the valley of Hinnom. Some of the people of Benjamin lived at Geba, Michmash, Haijah, and Bethel with its settlements. They also lived in Anatoth, Nob, Ananiah, Hazor, Ramah, Gittaim, Hadid, Zeboim, Nebalat, Lod, Ono, and the Valley of Craftsmen. Some of the Levites who lived in Judah were sent to live with the tribe of Benjamin. Nehemiah 12. Here's the list of the priests and Levites who returned with Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua the high priest. Seraiah, Jeremiah, Ezra, Amariah, Maluch, Hattush, Shechaniah, Harim, Meremoth, Iddo, Gineton, Abijah, Miniamin, Moadiah, Bilgah, Shemaiah, Joirib, Jedaiah, Shalu Amok, Hilkiah, and Jedaiah. These were the leaders of the priests and their associates in the days of Jeshua. The Levites who returned with them were Jeshua, Binui, Kadmiel, Sherebiah, Judah, and Mattaniah, who, with his associates, was in charge of the songs of thanksgiving. Their associates, Bakbukiah and Uni, stood opposite them during the service. Jeshua the high priest was the father of Joachim. Joachim was the father of Eliashib. Eliashib was the father of Joiada. Joiada was the father of Johanan. Johanan was the father of Jaddua. Now, when Joachim was high priest, the family leaders of the priests were as follows. Meriah was leader of the family of Seraiah. Hananiah was leader of the family of Jeremiah. Meshulam was the leader of the family of Ezra. Jehohanan was the leader of the family of Vemariah. Jonathan was the leader of the family of Malluch. Joseph was the leader of the family of Shechaniah. Adnah was the leader of the family of Harim. Hilkiah was the leader of the family of Meremoth. Zechariah was the leader of the family of Iddo. Meshulam was the leader of the family of Ginnethon. Zikri was the leader of the family of Abijah. There was also a leader of the family of Miniamin. Piltai was the leader of the family of Moadiah. Shammua was the leader of the family of Bilgah. Jehonathan was the leader of the family of Shemaiah. Mattenai was the leader of the family of Joiarib. Uzzi was the leader of the family of Jedaiah. Kalai was the leader of the family of Salu. Eber was the leader of the family of Amok. Hashabiah was the leader of the family of Hilkiah. Nethanel was the leader of the family of Jediah. A record of the Levite families were kept during the years when Eliashib, Joiada, Johanan, and Jaddua served as high priests. Another record of the priests was kept during the reign of Darius the Persian. A record of the heads of the Levites' families was kept in the book of history, down to the days of Johanan, the grandson of Eliashib. These were the family leaders and the Levites: Hashabiah, Zerubbabel, Joshua, Binui, Kadmiel, and other associates who stood opposite them during the ceremonies of praise and thanksgiving, one section responding to the other, as commanded by David, the man of God. This included Mattaniah, Bakbukiah, and Obadiah. Meshulam, Talmon, and Akkub were the gatekeepers in charge of the storerooms at the gates. These all served in the days of Joachim, son of Jeshua, son of Jehozadak, and in the days of Nehemiah, the governor of Ezra, the priest and scribe. Dedication of Jerusalem's wall. For the dedication of the new wall of Jerusalem, the Levites throughout the land were asked to come to Jerusalem to assist in the ceremonies. They were to take part in the joyous occasion with their songs of thanksgiving and with the music of cymbals, harps, and lyres. The singers were brought together from the region around Jerusalem and from the villages of Netophathites. Also they came from Beth Gilgal and the rural areas near Geba and Atzmaveth, for the singers had built their own settlements around Jerusalem. The priests and Levites first purified themselves, then they purified the people, the gates, and the wall. I led the leaders of Judah to the top of the wall and organized 2 large choirs to give thanks. One of the choirs proceeded southwards along the top of the wall to the Dung Gate. Hoshea and half of the leaders of Judah followed them, along with Azariah, Ezra, Meshulam, Judah, Benjamin, Shemaiah, and Jeremiah. Then came some priests who played trumpets, including Zechariah, son of Jonathan, son of Shemaiah, son of Mattaniah, son of Micaiah, son of Zakku, a descendant of Asaph. And Zechariah's colleagues were Shemaiah, Etzerel, Milalai, Gilalai, Mai, Nethanel, Judah, and Hanani. They used the musical instruments prescribed by David, the man of God. Asaph the scribe led this procession at the fountain gates. They went straight up the steps of the ascent of the city walls towards the city of David. They passed the house of David and then proceeded to the water gates on the east. The second choir, giving thanks, went northwards, around the other way to meet them. I followed them, together with the other half of the people, along to the wall of the city wall, the tower of the ovens to the broad wall, then past the Ephraim gate to the old city gate, past the fish gate and the tower of Hananel, and on to the tower of the 100. Then we continued on to the sheep gate and stopped at the guard gate. The two choirs were giving thanks and proceeded to the temple of God, where they took their places. So did I. Together we, the group of leaders who were with me, we went together with the trumpet-playing priests Eliakim, Messiah, Miniamin, Micaiah, Elioenai, Zechariah, Hananiah, and the singers, Maaseiah, Shemaiah, Eleazar, Uzzi, Jehohanan, Malchijam, Elam, and Ezer. They played and sang loudly under the direction of Jezrahiah, the choir director. Many sacrifices were offered on that joyous day, for God had given the people cause for great joy. The women and children also participated in the celebration, and the joy of the people of Jerusalem could be heard far away. Provisions for temple worship. On that day, men were appointed to be in charge of the storerooms for the offerings, the first part of the harvest and their tithes. They were responsible to collect from the fields outside the towns the portions required by the law for the priests and Levites, for all the people of Judah to join the priests and Levites in their work. They performed the service of their God and the service of purification as commanded by David and his son Solomon, and so did the singers and the gatekeepers. The custom of having choir directors to lead the choirs in hymns to praise and thanksgiving to God began long ago in the days of David and Asaph. So now in the days of Zerubbabel and of Nehemiah, all Israel brought a daily supply of food for the singers, the gatekeepers, and Levites. The Levites in turn gave a portion of what they received to the priests, the descendants of Aaron. So today is the 18th of April. This was my morning session. Thank you, God.